Hey everybody, welcome to Wacky Wednesday number 93 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and it's time for a Chaos Draft recap. So at my local game store, the Friday before a pre-release, so 4 times a year, we do a Chaos Draft. We take packs from every pack that's sitting on the shelf, throw them all together, and draft them. This time around, it was packs from everything excluding Conspiracy, Eternal Masters, etc., from Return to Ravnica all the way through Eldritch Moon. So we shuffled them all up, we each got some packs, and here's how the draft went. So I'm basically always doomed to having a pack of Dragon's Maze, and here I was again doomed by it. I also had a pack of Battle for Zendikar and a pack of Shadows over Innistrad. So I go right to the rare to see, did I get the one single valuable card? I didn't. I got a Skylasher. And not much else going on in this pack, to be honest. There's a Deputy of Acquittals, which I always remembered wanting to like and never quite getting there. There's a Windrake, which we now see in Kaladesh. There's a Bread for the Hunt. I had to reread a bunch of these cards. Skylasher honestly just jumped out as the obvious pick. It's a 2-2 for 2, which is totally fine. And the random protection from blue, hey, that might do some good. There wasn't much else going on in the pack, really, so I did just take that Skylasher. The next pack got passed to me, and what was it? It was a pack of Origins. We've got Naven Battle Priest, Chandra's Fury, Grasp of the Heromancer, which I always remember being more okay than it should have been. Not great. But there was a Leaf Gilder there, and that goes with my green first pick. There was a Ring Warden Owl, but I don't tend to want to go too expensive when I do these Chaos Drafts. I do like to stay lowish curve if possible. So I do just take the Leaf Gilder and hope to ramp out into something perhaps. Next pack gets sent my way, and it's a pack of Shadows over Innistrad. We know these packs. There's a Stitched Mangler, a Deadweight gets pushed right to the front, because, hey, it's a Deadweight, and there's just not much else going on here. I'm not going to take a Briarbridge Patrol over a Deadweight, so I just slam that Deadweight right down. Next pack comes along, and it's a pack of Battle for Zendikar. We've got not much going on here. An Aphid Protector, a Mighty Leap, a Consuming Sinkhole, Corpse Churn, Sky Scourer, Blinding Drone. You obviously don't want to go into colorless spells too much. I think about that Spatial Contortion, but then I think about the fact that I probably just won't have access to colorless mana. So I'm going to attempt to avoid anything that really, really requires the colorless mana. Sky Scourer, I mean, it goes with my Deadweight, but it's not great, but I think it's probably just better than anything in this pack. We're not going to have the colorless mana to activate the binder. We're not going to have allies necessarily to activate the white ally back there, whose name I can't remember, Spawn Binder Mage. So I do just go with that Sky Scourer, as unexciting a pick as that is. Next pack comes my way, and it's Khans of Tarkir. We've got a Highland Game, which goes with my green. There's a Bring Low, which is fine. It's 3 damage for 4 mana. There's Debilitating Injury, which is literally just a worse Deadweight, and I already have one Deadweight, so why not grab a slightly worse one? Fate Reforged is up next. We've got an Archers of Karsi, a Smoldering Efreet, an Ancestral Vengeance. Not much here. Not much here at all. The Lotus Eye Mystics are probably one of the better cards, just being a 3-2 for 4 plus their ability, but that's not great. There's honestly really nothing going on in this pack. The 5-4 for 5 really just seems like the best pick. I can get it out a turn earlier with my Leaf Gilder perhaps. Will of the Naga is just not good, and Cunning Strike, no. Not much going on in this pack. I do just take that Feral Crew Shock and feel sad about it. My Dragon's Maze pack is back. This was a 6-person pod. We had 12 people, so we split into 2 groups of 6. I pushed the Drowned in Filth to the front because, hey, I'm kind of leaning towards black-green at the moment, and that's a black-green spell. And if you get lucky, you can kill something. It's better than Bread for the Hunt, I think. Bread for the Hunt just never really did anything in Dragon's Maze. Don't really want to take a blue-black Cluestone. Don't really want to take a blue-green, blue-black Guildgate, blue-green Cluestone. I think about Woodlock Crawler potentially, but no, I'm in black-green. Let's go black-green and take the Drown in Filth. The Origins pack comes back around, and the Avamaya Coast is still there, so I do think about rare drafting it, but there's a Nivix Barrier, there's a Chandra's Fury, Grasp, Titanic Growth. I do just take the rare. Why not? It's probably worth a couple bucks, I think, at most, and maybe I splash for blue. Who knows? Heading back to Shadows, the Mangler's still there, which is a little bit surprising. It kind of suggests that blue's open. The black cards just aren't very good. The Macabre Waltz, I mean, maybe I throw something away with the Drown Filth, but I just take the Stitched Mangler just in case blue happens to be open. Taking a look at the battle pack again, we've got the Kozilek's Predator, or Pathfinder, which I think might just be the pick. It's a big beater. We're not going to have allies for Spawnbinder, and also no reason to go white, and there was a fly there just a second ago. The Spatial Contortion I slightly think about, but I'm not going to see colorless mana, so I do just take the Pathfinder, knowing that I may just never activate it. The next pack is here already. We've got Khans of Tarkir, and really nothing going on. Singing Bellstrike is kind of a sign that blue is, I think, in fact open. So I do pull that out. I mean, I'm not going to take a basic or Lens of Clarity or anything, so let's take the Singing Bellstrike. Fate comes back, and the Cunning Strike's still there, as long with a Will of Naga and Archers of Karsi and an Ancestral Vengeance. These are all just not cards that are going to make my deck, even if I'm in any of these colors. So I'm in green, I'm pretty sure, I think, so I just take the Archers, but I'm never going to play them. Here's my Dragon's Maze pack back yet again. Bread for the Hunt still there, as is Deputy of Quittles and Ubulsar Gatekeepers. I think the Gatekeepers are probably just the pick here because I wanted to go black, but I just take the blue-white guy. I honestly don't even know why. I probably should have taken the Gatekeepers. We take the whatchamadoodle, the meaningless artifact there that I can't even remember the name of now, because what point is that? And then we're going to get a basic land, last pick here in just a second, if they hurry up and pass to me. Come on, basic land. There we go. Oh, it's the Zendikar full art basic land. Cool. Pack 2, I crack open my Shadows pack, go to the back, and hey, look, there's Mr. Sorin himself. Do I really need to look at the rest of the cards? We're taking Sorin. We're not even caring. And away goes that pack. There was a Lambholt Pacifist in that pack, which would have been nice, but come on. I'm not taking the Sorin. Plus, I already slightly wanted to go black anyways, so I could still go black, green, splash white. Khans of Tarkir comes my way next, and we've got Mardu Warsheeker, which I remember being good, but I don't think I'm going to go into red this late. There's a Smoke Teller. Sultai Scavenger sounds pretty decent if I want to be going black. There's a Throttle as well. Dead Drop, Keru Lichlord, which could be a card I could play, especially if I am green-black with that green-blue land to splash for, but I don't know about going 3 colors in this format. I like to be really, really, really consistent when I play in Chaos Draft. So I'm really thinking about the Scavenger or the Throttle. Throttle I just think is going to be slightly too slow. Plus, if I really want one, I can pick one up in a Khans pack or in a Shadows pack. I reread the Keru Lichlord just to remember exactly what he does. But I just don't want to have to rely on getting 3 colors on the battlefield at once. So I do just take the Sultai Scavengers. They can be quite a beating. We've got Dragons of Tarkir up next. We've got an Atarka Berserker, Dramoka Captain, which seems okay. And if I do want to go black-white and just totally ignore green, then Dramoka Captain's going to start. But hey, there's a Silumgar Butcher. Butcher's a very, very, very good card. I don't think I'm even slightly going to consider anything else over that Butcher, so I do take that. And at this point, I kind of decide, you know what, I'm going black. I don't know if I'm black-green, black-white, black-blue, who knows, but I'm going black. Up next, we've got Born of the Gods, and hey, there's a Bile Blight, which I pushed to the front and then sort of remembered it's not that good in Limited. It was amazing and constructed, but it just never really got there in Limited. Looking through the rest of the cards, trying to figure out what do I take instead. We're looking at Revoke Existence. There's a fair number of enchantments that might run around with there being Theros block stuff, but probably not enough. So I push Necrobite to the front. Maybe I want to go with that. Nyxborn Wolf gets pushed to the front. It could just be a very aggressive card, and I did start out going green. The only white I have really is Sorin, so I do take the Nyxborn Wolf. Well, we go from Born of the Gods back another block to Theros, and we've got a Cavern Lampiad, a Karametos Acolyte, Ill-Tempered Cyclops, Leaf Crown Dryad. Leaf Crown Dryad's very, very, very good, and I snap pick that because, yeah, we're going to go black-green, and we'll splash for that Sorin. We'll find a way of getting white mana for sure. Up next, we've got ourselves another pack of Theros. We've got Hunt the Hunter, which I briefly start to push to the front until I remember the fact that it has to be target green creature fights target green creature. There's an Ordeal of Heliod there, but then, hey, there's a Baleful Eidolon. I do push the Farika's Mender to the front because, hey, Farika's Mender. If I want to push black-green, why not take a black-green card? But Baleful Eidolon is just so much better. Just that Death Touch, being able to throw it on a creature, so good. Next up, we've got some Shadows here. We've got a Topplegeist. We've got, not much else. We've got a Twins of Mara Estate. I have no discard outlet, but I don't think I'm going to push white for a Topplegeist. Sorin is a great reason to push white, but Topplegeist isn't really what's going to push me in that direction. Not in a Chaos Draft format. The Twins of Mara Estate, without the sacrifice or without the discard outlet, just aren't that amazing, but they're still a beater. They're still a solid blocker as well. So I do just take the Twinsies. Up next, we've got our pack of Khans back, and Karu Lichlord's still there, but so's Throttle. And we're not going to go inconsistent for 3 colors. We're just going to take a Throttle. Up next, we've got that pack of Dragons of Tarkir coming back to us. The Dromoka's captain's still there, and nothing else. White suddenly seems really open. Or not really open, but the Dromoka's captain's slightly assigned. But I'm just going to take the Naturalize. I bet it will have a target at some point, so in the pile it goes. Next up, we've got that pack of Born of the Gods, and not much left in here. There's a War Chanter of Mogus, which really seems like the only pick to me, so I take it, but I don't think I'm actually going to play it. Theros comes back, and I really wanted to take Chosen by Heliod, briefly thinking that it was Ordeal of Heliod, but it's clearly not. There's really nothing going on in this pack. White is overrepresented, but I wouldn't say open. I just take the Aqueous form because I don't want to deal with an unblockable creature, so in the pile it goes, but it's not actually for me. Theros comes back next, and hey, there is actually an Ordeal of Heliod. Why nobody has taken this, I have no idea. This probably suggests to me that white is open, or people at the table just don't know how good Ordeal is. And honestly, if I remember correctly, a lot of people at the table hadn't drafted Theros, so maybe they just didn't realize that it was a beating along with the other Ordeals, or most of the Ordeals anyways. Shadows comes back to us, and we've got an Essence Flux or a Stallion. I take the Stallion because I'll probably play it. An Erase or a Basic, I'll take the Erase, I guess, and then we get our basic land. Feeling fairly okay with the deck, thinking that I am in black-green, though knowing that I am slightly low on playables, but I've got that Sorin, so I'm happy. I open up Battle for Zendikar, and there's a foil, oh, it's a foil-plated Crusher, and a Nissa's Renewal in the back. That's not exciting either. There's a Bane of Belaged, that's probably exciting. I could try to ramp into that with my Leaf Gilder, perhaps. There's a Herald of Kozilek, which, of course, was amazing in this format and not amazing in this format. Calastria Healer I briefly paused on because I said, hey, that's a fantastic card, but it's really not when you probably aren't going to have any other allies in your deck. So I really just think I'm going to take the Bane of Belaged here because it's big, beefy, and goes in, you know, any deck that I play, I'll play a Bane. So Bane, in you go. Next pack, we've got some Shadows over Innistrad action here. There's a Handwear Battlements, a Stitcher's Graft, both terrible rares. A Somberwood Stag seems awesome. I can't imagine anything's going to beat that in this pack, and sure enough, nothing does at all in any way, shape, or form. So Stag, in you go, and yeah, I'm black-green. It's decided, because come on, the power of the cards that I'm getting is just too big. Next pack comes my way. It's Journey into Nyx. We've got a foil aerial formation. There was a Dictated Crewfix there. Forgeborn Dryads. Crewfix's Insight. There's some decent cards here, but not in black-green. There's a Nature's Panoply, which I really would prefer not to play. It's just not a good card. A counter for a mana, not good. Skyspear's Cavalry, Forgeborn Dryad. Both great cards, but I'm not going to splash for double white or double red. There's a returned Centaur or Minotaur or whatever it was called there. Tormented Thoughts, I read that over. No, it's not good either. Returned Reveler, that's what it was. Yeah, there's just nothing going on in this pack. I briefly consider whether or not I should just rare draft. I just about pull that Nature's Panoply and decide that, yeah, that's going to be the card. I flip back to that Returned Reveler and I say, you know what, it is kind of like Wailing Ghoul, which is okay, but no, let's just take the Nature's Panoply. Let's pay a mana and a card for a counter, but hopefully not. Up next, we've got a pack of Gatecrash. There's a Shadow Slice there, Frilled Oculus, Soul Ransom. I remember being pretty good, but we're not splashing blue. Simic, Whatchamadoodle, Sleet Street Ruffian, I guess, gets pushed to the front. It's a creature, I guess, and that's about the best thing I can say in this pack. It's a 3-mana 2/2 that whenever it becomes blocked, my opponent has to discard a card. I don't want the Key Rune. I don't want the Legionnaire. Yeah, I think we're just going to go with the Ruffian. I briefly look at Shadow Slice one more time and think, can I pull it off? And the answer is no. We do just take the Ruffian. Next pack is here, and it's a good old M15 pack. There's a Siege Worm, which is totally fine by me. Carrion Crow, I think about it, obviously costs a lot less than Siege Worm, but if we have any creatures down, then Siege Worm isn't too bad. Rest of this pack has next to nothing in it. I wouldn't mind getting that Plummet back, but I do just take Siege Worm here. Next pack, we've got Return to Ravnica. There's Guildgate, Pyroconvergence. Towering Indrik is just a giant spider, which is fine. Bluster Squall, Leaf Sky Knight, Paralyzing Grasp. Some decent blue cards here, but we're way past the point of attempting to play any blue cards, I think. So we're really just going to go for the giant spider, and we'll probably end up main decking it. Next up is my battle pack, which is bad news because I barely found first pickable cards in those packs, and we've now seen everything we're going to see. I read Void Attended over, and it's just not something that I'm going to go for. And this is Renewal. You know, it could get my Plains for Sorin. It's a very expensive way to fix my mana / ramp, but I could get there with it, and there's just nothing else going on in this pack outside of a Plummet, which I did briefly pull up, and then I remembered there's another Plummet from another set coming around, and I bet I can get that one. So we do just take the Nissa's Renewal. Next pack, we're back on Shadows here, or Eldritch Moon, sorry. Wailing Ghoul is alright. Strange Augmentation gets pushed to the front. Vampire Cutthroat actually briefly hangs out there, and then I remember something. I have a Leaf Crown Dryad. I have a Baleful Eidolon. I have a Nature's Panoply for that matter. I have ways of actually making it bigger. This is a Chaos Draft. This is Wacky Wednesday. This is having fun. So we're going to actually play that Vampire Outcast and see what we can do with it. Journey into Nyx comes back around, and there's just nothing here. There's that Returned Reveler, which is going to function sort of like a Wailing Ghoul, except when it dies instead of when I actually play it. I for some reason don't push it to the front. I push it like 4 cards back, but it is in fact the card I'm going to take. Up next is M15. Nope, Gate Crash. Gate Crash has nothing for me outside of a Shadow Slice, and we are not going to play that Shadow Slice. I do take the Wildwood Rebirth, which honestly just surprised me. Now, re-recording this a few days after this actual draft, I have no idea why I took that over the Shadow Slice. I wasn't going to play either, so I guess it didn't really matter. Now the M15 pack is going to come back around, and the Carrion Crow is still there. Congregate is not a card I'm going to splash or play. Staff, no. Staff just falls out, trying to get to the floor, which is where it belongs, but I do just take the Carrion Crow. Winding down now, we've got Return to Ravnica here with absolutely nothing for me. The Bluster Squall is a shock to be there. I take it just in case somebody around me is drafting blue, but it kind of feels like they aren't. We've not seen anything insane in blue, so I feel like somebody is blue, but they're just not taking the great cards. There's that Plummet that I wanted to see back around, or at least one of them. I can't remember if that was the one that I commented on or not, but we do take it. Just a couple cards left now. Our second last pick is Stensia Banquet, and for some reason my basic land never came back around. No, there it is. Never mind. We did get the basic land. So that was the draft. It didn't exactly go cleanly, but I did get the Sorin, and, you know, I was going to make black, green, splash, white work, and this is the deck that we ended up with. It's a little bit messy, and it's kind of like an inverse curve of what you would normally expect. We're heavy on 2s, and then one single 3-drop, 2 4-drops, a bunch of 5s and 6s and 7s. But let's take a look at each of these columns individually, shall we? In the 1-drop slot, I did decide to play the Vampire Cutthroat, basically purely because of the bestow creatures that I had, plus the Nature's Panoply, which I did play, and there it is down there at the bottom, along with, of course, the Deadweight, one of our actual good cards. The 2-drop slot was definitely jammed full. We had the Baleful Eidolon and the Leaf Crown Dryad as our bestowed creatures, both fantastic. Leaf Gilder also great. Skylasher fine. Debilitating Injury just a worse deadweight, but it works. Drown in Filth, I don't know, and I kind of realized later that it was a really big non-bow if I was playing Nissa's Renewal and planning on getting lands out of my deck anyways. We had the Returned Reveler because I needed a creature, and Sky Scourer as well, but, you know, some good mixed in with some bad at 2. As I previously mentioned, at 3 was nothing but a Nyxborn Wolf and nothing else, and it honestly ended up not being as good as I remember it, and I think I'm just remembering it better than it was. I don't think it was actually good, but it kind of worked out in my deck. The 4-drop slot was the home of the Towering Indrik, which I was main decking just to be a creature again, and, maybe I had to deal with some flyers, as well as the Stallion of Ashmouth. And if I had Delirium on, cool, and if I didn't, it was still just a 3/3. It's not great, but, nobody's deck is great in a Chaos Draft. Usually. Hopefully. In the 5-drop slot, we start going back up in the number of cards that we have. We have Twins of Mauer Estate, which again I'm playing purely to be a creature. We just don't have a way of madnessing it out. But we do have a Somberwald Stag, very solid, and a Silumgar Butcher, also quite solid, and a Throttle. Less solid, but fine. Not terrible. The 6-drop slot, we have a Sultai Scavenger, which of course we're ideally not casting for 6 mana with Delve. And this is Renewal in order to get the planes for Sorin Grim Nemesis. A pretty solid 6-drop slot, although you don't generally want to play that many. But as I said, Sultai Scavenger, I reliably cast more for like 4, 3, even for 1 mana here and there. Finally, off in the 7-drop slot, we did have a Bane of Beleged and the Siege Worm. Again, the Siege Worm hopefully being cast for less than 7. Much harder to cast than Delve, but Convoke could still get me there. So the deck performed actually quite well, I've got to say, for as kind of janky as it looks. I did, in fact, get a lot of value out of Vampire Cutthroat. One game I actually got in for easily 15 damage with it, just being a 1/1, because it had Skulk, and I held off my opponent with other stuff. Unfortunately, that game did go to time, and we ended up in a 1/1 draw. The other 2 games, though, I won, so I ended up going 2-0-1 for, I believe, 2nd place is what I got. Yeah, I got 2nd place. Couple of Nombos I discovered. As I mentioned, this is Renewal. Getting a bunch of lands out of my deck means that Drown in Filth was kind of hard to get more than -1/-1, or even a couple of times -0/-0, which is not a great card. Another time I did cast Drown in Filth, milk both of my planes, and then much later in the match go searching for the planes, then searching through my deck box, trying to figure out where the heck they were. I swore I had 3. No, I only had 2, and so the Sorin in my hand was absolutely worthless to me. Luckily, that only happened once. Also, luckily, in another match, Sorin got to Ultimate, and I got to have 19 1/1 life-linking vampires, which very, very drastically changed the course of that game. I think I was down to 4 or 5, and then, needless to say, I was no longer at 4 or 5 for very long. But yeah, pretty good deck, pretty fun deck. I love doing Chaos Drafts. I'd love to do a Chaos Draft with really old sets, but of course that's significantly more expensive to actually pull off. If you haven't Chaos Drafted, you should. See if your local game store will support it, or just buy a bunch of packs for you and your friends. It's a really, really, really fun way of doing it. It's kind of like a cube draft, or kind of like Conspiracy, but even more random and totally undesigned, whereas cubes and Conspiracy and Eternal Masters and etc., those are designed to be drafted. The things work together. Here, the things may not work together, or may work together incredibly well, depending on how it goes. But if you have Chaos Draft experiences, let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/TheManaLeak, twitch.tv/TheManaLeak, and of course, if you do want to help me out financially and support The Mana Leak, you can go to patreon.com/TheManaLeak and check out everything there. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.